6-day weeks with 6-day pay thanks to the union SAG-AFTRA. Let's hear it. But one of the keys to TV cop hair is what? Hairspray. And, you can get a flexible hold finishing hairspray like this one from Suave, which is a good dupe for the Sebastian Shaper Zero Gravity. The issue is that this has alcohol, whereas our friends at Pantene give us an extra stronghold hairspray that is alcohol free, and this one will preserve your hair. What I like to do once I get these products into my hair to keep it, you know, keep curly hair straight and keep it neat during the day is when I get home, I take a washcloth with warm or hot water on it and just try to wipe the stuff off my hair. We don't have time to wash our hair every day. It's not good to wash your hair every day. And, we gotta go to sleep and go back to work the next day. Lord willing, we have noon call time tomorrow, so that's awesome. Anyway, this is my Lion of Judah t-shirt. I was lucky enough to get this really cute vase today at Marshall's, little home decor moment. And I also picked up a couple of palettes from Jaclyn Hill, this Bling Boss palette from Morphe, and this one is a kind of pink and purple color story with a mirror in the palette. So beautiful. And then I also got this Armed and Gordium 330W, so maybe we'll put a little bit more of this on. Do we need to conceal? We can experiment with a concealer. We have this ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the color Light. So maybe let's get that on, and then we'll put that on the lids as a eyeshadow base, because we have an e.l.f. putty eye primer in a color Clay that seems like it's going to muddy up our eyeshadow, and then this white one from NYX it's a lot. So maybe let's go with a more skin colored pale concealer, and we can try out this double-ended brush from Stila. How cute. Let's see, where is our little dish? Here it is. I haven't been doing this kind of makeup for a while. Just, there's been a lot going on at work. It's just, people trying to set traps for other people, and you have to be, in as much as there's conflict between Russia and Ukraine, we also are in an industry where it's important to be diplomatic, right? Still COVID times. Do we really want to get into going to other people's parties during, what is still a complicated moment for work, right? Getting this concealer on in the concealed places and then dragging that up into the eyelid area using this brush. This is an exciting brush, but, as I encounter professional makeup people at work, and they always use brushes. There's no, what do you call it? There's never any beauty sponge, beauty blender. It just doesn't happen. We also did use an e.l.f. contour palette to contour our nose, our jaw, our cheekbones, and our forehead, hopefully shrinking down our sizable forehead and sharpening our very weak chin. I don't know if I'm doing the best job here, because now we have that reverse raccoon goggle look. Maybe we can get into a little beauty blender moment to take that down a bit. But, just a little, it's not the weekend, but for me, I had a paid day off, so it is sort of like a weekend for me. And I like to, just see what different products that I have in my collection can do, whether that's good or bad. This has sort of gone left, but thankfully we have our mighty green beauty sponge that we can use to just tap off some of the craziness, right? We still want the eyelid area to be primed, but maybe not so ghosty white. Maybe we're a little aggressive with that product, but you know, maybe that's the point of the beauty blender or the beauty sponge, that you want to use your product and then take it down, right? Take it down to a level and a color that you can live with, that lets you look human without having to just, you know, leave stuff on your face that looks crazy, right? And if this is over sunscreen and moisturizer and other makeup, right, then maybe we can get this eyeshadow on and then go in with another application of our e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation, right? Just running whatever's left of that pale concealer down the center of our nose. You know, in the drag world, people draw converging lines, not parallel lines. And I think that that's a really interesting optical illusion to think about when we are doing makeup and wanting to be glamorous. So if we try this cracked palette, and let's see. Another thing that I've been actually using at work that I quite love, it's the first thing I found. Now, you know I'm a fan of the e.l.f., what is it? The brow wax, but it doesn't exactly stay in place. It's good. It's close. The NYX Brow, whatever that was, Freeze. I don't even know where that product is. I don't care to look for it. It didn't really do what I needed it to do. But this Eyebrow Gel, Control Freak, kind of think this is kind of the truth. For your brows to just be brushed into where you want them, tamed, groomed, not even colored in. I think it's kind of a plus. So we had washed these brushes, right? One to blend, one to pat, and then one a little bit more precise for the corner. So if we start with this, which will give us a diffused crease color, and on a hooded eye we put it slightly above the crease. I don't have the most hooded, but I don't have an unhooded eye. So let's go in with something exciting, something, it seems like Access, which is this mango shade, or Secure, which is this orange shade. Looks a little scary. Should we do Access and then plan on maybe outer cornering this green? Let's be experimental. You know, the last time I used the Anastasia Riviera palette, I have to tell you, I put that stuff on just to see what it looked like, went to work, got up to go to work the next day, and the shadows had stained my lids, which is not what you want when you're a cop. Let me tell you. So we're going to dip into Access, get that on our brush, tap it off. Look at our lid, look down into the mirror, and then just start building that across just above our natural crease, all the way into the nose bridge. You know, things didn't go terrible wrong, but it was quite a shock that, you know, I use not the harshest cleansers, but I do use face cleanser, but you know, I was surprised that it had, we're just building it across above the crease and then bringing it out in a lifted shape toward the tail of our brow without completely covering what's right underneath the brow arch, right? Kissing that back toward the lash line. Let's really get this color to show on top of this pale concealer that we kind of screened down with our beauty sponge. It's such a chore to not say beauty blender because it's just such an ingrained thing to say, but beauty sponge. It's a generic beauty sponge, not a branded beauty blender. But the color payoff on this is really quite nice. I don't know if I love the color, but you know, as someone who during quarantine is when I really discovered Jeffree Star and who he was, and you know, all that makeup, which just seems so far out for anyone who, you know, has like a normal job. Like, when are you going to get a chance to wear that stuff? Unless you're going to a concert or just doing makeup for Instagram or social media. I don't know. Do we love it? I don't know. But we're going to commit to it. This is what we're doing today. We're rocking with mango. Other side, Access is the name of the color, from our friend Jaclyn Hill, who is celebrated across social media as a great saleswoman. You know, and maybe that's kind of ultimately what we are doing on social media, right? Persuading people that we know and that we have taste and that we are authorities, whether that's on eyeshadow or acting or, you know, whatever our area of expertise is. I was listening to someone talk about how to get a promotion. Was it as a cop? What was I watching? But it was basically to say, oh, I know what it was. It was a show where, you know, a kind of higher ranking cop was telling a lower ranking cop how to prepare for the next, you know, sort of career rung and promotion, and, you know, to specialize in some area, right? Whether it's vice or, I don't know, homicide or drug dealing or something like that. And that makes sense, right? And so similarly in the influencer world, it's like, what do you do? What do you know about, right? You definitely see people who love makeup like myself talking about how to use it. Does that mean that we're the most knowledgeable? No. But I mean, I think as a normal woman and person, you know, non-binary or otherwise, right? You're trying to see how these looks and these colors can fit in with an outfit or with a particular country's flag or something. You know, you're trying to plan a look that will do something for you, right? So hooded eye, go in with a slightly, this is a Bobbi Brown Essentials eyeshadow brush, a slightly keener, more precise brush to let's build our outer corner with this green color. Now these are definitely very pigmented, an unusual set of colors that I really didn't know that I was actually getting into when I made the purchase. I just, you know, I hear the name Jaclyn Hill. I know people have respected some of her launches. And this may be, because it was at Marshall's, it may be an older launch. So to me, that said, oh, why not try it? Right? Trying to stay precisely on the outer corner of the eye, right? I hope today's lighting setup is giving you satisfaction, viewers at home. My phone is still acting up, but you know, we're in here to do a little something before we have to go to sleep and get to work tomorrow. I mean, I would love to actually do another live and get into this other Jaclyn Hill palette, but then the issue becomes like, I think I have to be a cop tomorrow, so eyeshadow is really not part of the equation. So just patting this into padding, not little circles, because we have a hooded eye. We need the precision. We can't be circling all out into the, you know, we got to stay in that outer V place, right? Stay in that outer V place. But yeah, we've been experimenting with a fill light and another ring light, and then, oh, they had $20 12-inch ring lights at Marshall's, and I was like highly tempted. But, you know, I have not monetized my channel. I have not, you know, this is, you know, for me, this is like a leisurely experiment, whereas I feel like I shouldn't just keep spending money on it when I have other things to do with money. So that's how we're looking with this Access kind of mango-y color. And I think it looks very sophisticated. If I were wearing like an army green jacket or a mango colored dress, you know, or even wearing white or something, or bone, where these colors would really pop on the eye. And kind of where I want to be with this is to sort of go into a place where it looks like I know how to do makeup. I don't know if I'm there yet, but we have this fluffy brush from Jeffree Star. It's the JS5, another Morphe product. They abandoned him, didn't they? If we use this brush to just, you know, buff out the edges of our mango color and make it look more sophisticated. We'll do that on the other side, trying to avoid that green, just so it doesn't look so harsh. No harsh edges. We want it to look seamless, right? Seamless. We're not trying to cover every inch of our eyelid, right? But we want to use this brush to blur the edges, right? And even this, I know it can feel, for me, it definitely feels like painting by the numbers, right? To do what people suggest in terms of like blending. But then at the end, you really definitely get a better result than, you know, I think back to my eyeshadow wearing self when I worked in kids animation. And I would definitely put it on, but I really had so no clue what I was doing, right? And just, you know, was wearing eyeshadow just the same way I was wearing lipstick or blush, like put it on, but without any kind of like technique or rhyme or reason to it. And I, you know, somehow I was able to hold a job and some level of respect, despite the fact, you know, I would have preferred to have had more technique at the time than I did, but you know, here we are today getting into it. So here's our eyeshadow brush, sort of a paddle brush. So we're gonna let's try to do some surgery on this classified shade that's cracked. I don't know if someone dropped this palette or what, but we're just gonna try to fill in that little crack. Maybe keep it in the palette by mashing it together, or are we damaging it further? Anyway, we've got it on our brush. Such a nice palette. It has its own mirror. And then just patting it into the inner 2/3 of the eye. This is rather a dark glitter. It's a little subtle, given our skin color and given the other shades in our makeup look. Getting a little fallout. I feel it. It doesn't look terrible. But on a hooded eye, you need that inner corner brightness to create more light in that hooded eye. You see what I'm working with here? I don't hate it, but I do kind of like wish it were a brighter color because it just sort of melds into the others, the other two colors. So if we flip our brush over, and there's another color coin, which is gold, but there's another color here, which is peach, and then this one is white. Should we go for the white and see what's happening? Let's try it. So our eyes aren't going to match, but we're just trying to see if this color looks insane or like nothing, and if it gives us more inner corner light. So I don't hate that. I'm surprised at how that looks on my skin. It almost reads like silver gray, or maybe even a little blue, but it gives a more satisfying lightness to that inner 2/3. Do you see what I'm saying? So this eye or this eye. This eye just looks kind of almost, you know, not monochromatic, monotonal, right? What we're looking for is the tone variation very dark at that inner crease, very kind of medium across the crease of the eye, right? But brightness in that inner 2/3 of the eye so that, you know, when you look around or blink, it just creates drama. This is low drama. This is much higher drama while still staying pretty and looking sophisticated. So, you know, even looking into this mirror, I feel like this is a much more flattering made up look. You know, we can go back in with our, if we can find it, our blacker. That is my favorite. And it is a gel formulation, right? This Marc Jacobs blacker liner, which is so good. And so what's great is it doesn't get all over your eye. Like you kind of put it on and it stays where you put it. And you can, you know, do a little something and move it around a little. Maybe stretch it out into a wing. But just messily putting it onto the outer 2/3 of your eye gives you some volume at the lash line. You don't have to tote around any, what do you call it? Sharpener, because it comes out of its little dispenser sharp, right? So if that's it on the lash line, then we can take this brush, which is an exciting brush, right? This is from our friends at BH Cosmetics, right? Let's see if we can just smudge that and then drag it out into a wing. Smudge it down toward the lash line. We're just trying to create a little bit more drama at that outer corner. We're not trying to add lashes at this hour. It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You know, and just stretch it out into a bit of a wing. And I like this brush. It's a super cheap brush, but it's so precise. It's just exactly what you need, right? I was feeling frustrated about, you know, this kind of eyeliner situation. Got a bunch of different brushes, but this is the one that like really sells it, right? Gives you that thicker lash line. I almost feel inspired to curl my lashes, right? Curl my lashes that are growing back after that terrible acrylic lash debacle. But yeah, see how exciting this looks? That very pale inner 2/3. Someone outside being rude with their loud, what do you call it? With their horn at this hour when I'm trying to make a video. This is the Makeup Revolution London Mad Love palette. It's got some exciting colors in it, babies. Yes, it does. Look at this. Ace Chemicals, Asylum, Joker's Favor, Arkham. I hope you guys have enjoyed the new Batman movie. But we can just grab a little angled brush, right? Put this little film aside. What shall it be, right? We could experiment with something orange, or we could go for brown. This very hot pink. Maybe let's try the hot pink. It may throw off the balance of, I think this is a cream formulation. Was this the right brush? We'll see. So putting it high on the cheekbone. Right? High on the cheekbone. Right, because this is how we do blush in 2022. The nose, a little on the chin. Put some on the tip of the forehead where the sun might hit you. Right? Diffused. Soft. Right? Just thinking about sophistication and glamour. How we might look appealing to someone that we fancy. Right? We want to look healthy and like we have some level of skill with makeup. right? Not just plain old us, but us kind of enhanced and maximized, if it were, as it were. So we had actually put on a brown liner earlier, and I think it was some sort of pink lip pencil. You know, lip pencils were kind of all the rage for a while, right? Do we need to powder this? I'm so excited about how bright and shiny this shimmer is in the inner 2/3. Got a little eyeliner on, a little blush on, and we could powder a bit, right? I'd be curious to know what the next palest shade of this is, because it's quite warm. You know, it's winter here. So I'm kind of in my paler version of myself. What is this brush? Let's give this a whirl. Right? Just tap that into the product. It seems to, you know, become powder, and then just, you know, get that around the nose, maybe under the eyes to compensate for how pale that concealer was, right? Maybe on the forehead, just to warm up that pale concealer, because it wasn't exactly a match, right? If you look at my chest and you look at my face, I'm looking, you know, definitely made up, but we could compensate for the tone of that concealer being so kind of pale and add some more depth and warmth with this powder. Right? You always want to sit back and look at your work. Look at how things are marrying together, whether you look human, whether things look flattering. I think this is a nice powder, but you know, I have heard people discussing the makeup on Euphoria, that they're using Chantecaille. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but a very expensive foundation and no powders, right? I definitely have colleagues who wear heavy foundation and then they powder it. They either blow dry or flat iron their hair, put no hairspray, no product in it. So the effect is flyaways and a face that looks made up but dusty. And, you know, not shiny is a good idea, but in real life, it just makes you look powdery and dry, you know, and this is the desert after all. Powdery and dry may not be all that it's cracked up to be. Do we need to get on a little bronzer? Is that something that would be a plus if we use the same brush? Get into our Physicians Formula butter bronzer. Smells so good. And just use the edge of this brush. Maybe enhance our cheek a bit. Again, we did do some contouring earlier, right? Just right under our blush placement. Top of the ear, middle of the ear. Other side. Top of the ear, middle of the ear. Right? You can do it by the numbers until, you know, I'm not someone who wears contour every day. We're kind of like not allowed to, given, you know, what our role is supposed to be. So we can't always do all the things. But, you know, when it's time off, it's time to experiment, baby. You know, and I'm looking at this eyeshadow more closely in this magnifying mirror that came with this exciting lit mirror that's on my wall giving me fill light. And I have to say, this magnifying mirror is very handy. I quite like it. I heard someone talking today about taking your contour from under your eye and running it up toward your temple, right? That helps structure the face and lift the face as well. Pinching this brush, thinking about nose contour, right? Thinking about nose contour. And converging lines, maybe more converging than parallel. Under the chin, emphasizing the size of the chin, creating a stronger structure for our weak-chinned face. But yes, so, yes. Jaclyn Hill, respect. You know, I know she's had some struggles with her shade range and quality control of lipsticks and all that, but you know, again, we're all in that kind of experimenting place. Here is NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. So, is this something that we can use to, you know, sort of build a stronger highlight down the middle of our nose and on the tip of our nose, right? Take our little pinky finger and rub that in. How's that? Little Cupid's bow. Pinky finger, rub that in, right? All of these things to create optical illusions of a thinner nose, of a more prominent chin, maybe even under the brow for a little brow highlight. Bringing it back to the 80s, 90s, little Pamela Anderson moment, right? What's nice about this inner corner shimmer is it gives us an inner corner highlight that is quite bright. So not to change the face, but do you see the kind of emphasis and light that we get on this side as opposed to this side? Just because these colors are so matchy-matchy. Color theory. We're working with it, right? So this nose contour is a little stark. We can use our finger just to kind of give it a more of a gradient effect. Rub it in a little bit. You know, what's odd is like when people do their bronzer and it on their nose and it's just so much color on the nose, it has the effect of making them look like they have a brown nose. We're looking for structure, not a brown nose. But I think our final touch will be to take a lip pencil, not even overlining, right? Just to balance out our face and create a more structured lip so that things have comparable weight. A little darkness on the lash line, a little emphasis on the lip line. So even if we are doing a nude lip, our lips don't get lost. They don't fade into the rest of our face. I heard someone say today to line in brown, then do the center of the lip with a pink liner, right? We have a lot of options here. This is a rose liner. We also have this NYX Jumbo Pencil in Honey Nectar. Maybe let's try that since we're giving NYX some attention today, right? It's a little bit rose colored, but you know, we're a more pigmented person. Just putting that in between our brown lines, right? Trying to add color, but not take our structure away, right? And then they also said to put some red in the center. Now, was that a red lipstick or a red liner? Here is a Jessie's Girl brick liner. We're gonna try it, right? Creating all kinds of structure on the lip and then covering it with a gloss. So, right in the center of the mouth. Ooh, this pencil is trash. Dry as a bone. I don't think we can get any color off of it. Maybe we'll have to try. It does come with a sharpener, so we'll give it a couple of turns, see if that assists us in getting color out of this dry ass pencil. Wow, this pencil really tried to play us. Ugh. Anyway, again, the idea is to put red, dry pencil right in the center of your lips. And hopefully this pencil won't remove the skin from our lips. It's so dry. It's a brand called Jessie's Girl. It honestly, it costs like $1. It's color called Brick. So you can see it, right? Red in the middle of pink and brown. Little stray piece of lip crayon, right? So if that's the structured look, we're obviously going to have to clean this pencil off. Then we go into our basket of lip glosses. I don't think we want to go brown. I think we want to emphasize maybe that pinkness. Here's one called Tiramisu. Let's see what that does. This is all alchemy, right? Using technique and color. This looks very punk and editorial, but we want to use the gloss, hopefully, to marry all of this together. So just tapping this on, create an emollient effect. Pressing the lips together. We still have some very clear lines in there. Using our finger to rub all of that into a more cohesive, wet looking lip color. I think it looks adorable, right? That brown structure jumping out through the pink and that red in the middle. There is something quite vulgar about, lip color and what it's supposed to be sexy, right? It's supposed to be ladylike and pretty and sexy, but I think it's also supposed to be suggestive of other parts of the anatomy, if you get my meaning. Right? Colors that are intriguing and may suggest other parts of your body, right? Picture me with my hair down, or even in a slicked back bun, right? When you're a cop, it's not really like an attractive hairdo. You're supposed to look businesslike. And then, if you manage to look cute or attractive despite this very severe hairstyle that honestly, cop hair is supposed to minimize how someone could grab hold of you, right? If you had short hair like a man, that would minimize it much more so. Although men can be grabbed by hair, like if their hair has any length. But if your hair is down, it's so funny to me when I see law enforcement people on television with like high ponytails or low ponytails. There's some women that I work with who, try to come into a cop scene with like milkmaid buns, or braids and milkmaid buns, or buns up here, or one bun high up. The hair and makeup was, I believe, kind of done in a way to make sure that the main cast and the stars looked glamorous, whereas you would look appropriate, but it was very small, tight hair. No volume in your bun, no volume in your hair. Like they do elaborate French braids, and it was very sculptural, but it was very severe. And, I understand those aesthetics, but you can't, go crazy and have a lot of sexy, voluminous hair when you're a cop or an FBI agent or a CIA analyst or anything like that. I mean, you watched whatever the Mueller testimony with those women from the CIA, and their hair was straight business. So, in any case, this is my makeup look for today. You know, I'm very satisfied with this Jaclyn Hill palette. I think we managed to do something pretty and emphatic, especially on this side of my face. I think we could have gone for an even brighter concealer under the eye, maybe around the corners of the nose, maybe even a thinner set of lines on the nose to kind of bring that structure, that optical illusion of thinning the nose even sharper. But I think the Milk NYX pencil is a plus on the chin, on the Cupid's bow, etc. But you know, see how bright this inner eye is? We're doing something here. The blush is pretty, you know, the bronzer as contour on the chin and on the jaw and on the forehead. I think we could have put some more on the sides of the forehead, but I'm not dissatisfied. You know, for a nighttime experiment, I'm not mad. Are you mad? You know, tomorrow we have late call. We did send some photos of the community garden because again, someone is interested in coming to the facility and having a succulent planting event that hopefully will encourage more normal uses of the public space than the meth dealing and then the condoms that were left on the ground and the needles that were left on the ground of the community garden that yours truly had to clean up. You know, we're also involved with some HIV AIDS prevention community work here in Los Angeles, so we'll maybe create some signage around that in the garden, you know, just to discourage especially young people, but you know, anyone who's suffering trauma or any kind of mental distress given the panorama and whatever's going on with that. Like, you know, meth is not going to help you. Meth only helps the pockets of the people that make meth. Let's be honest. Nobody who gives you meth is your friend. No, it's not going to make you lose weight. It's going to make you lose your teeth and your looks. One of my friends at work was saying that people who catch COVID multiple times, their looks can suffer. And I don't know about that. Like I haven't heard any data. I haven't heard any analyses about that. I've heard people talking about long COVID and mental health issues, but you know, there's a few people at work who've had COVID 3 and 4, 5 times, like despite vaccination, despite booster doses. It makes you wonder, what exactly are they doing? And you know, besides going out and partying and going to bars and stuff like that, it's like, wow, what are you doing? Because I think people want to believe like even a mild case has no long-term effects, and I don't know if that's the case. Do you know? Let me know. In any case, I should probably get myself together. There is another Morphe palette that I was looking at. Some sort of dark and stormy, dark shadow, something. I'll try to look it up, but I might get hold of that. I have this other Jaclyn Hill palette. More experiments to come with the Riviera palette, but you know, I'm really fascinated by eyeshadow now. I did actually get to see one of the Jeffree Star, maybe it was Blood Sugar palette in the Nordstrom rack over in Burbank, and I was surprised at how I always thought his packaging looked very sophisticated and interesting on camera, you know, and on the you know, the videos that he would post and that other people would post, but in real life it just looked like kind of like the quality of a kid's toy. I don't know what the quality of the eyeshadows are, but I was surprised because I you know, I think that they aren't cheap or weren't cheap at that point, and that I certainly thought, wow, this must be high-end makeup, but in real life it looked kind of like fake fur, and it wasn't what I expected, you know, just having had my hands on, you know, Morphe palettes and on the Anastasia of Beverly Hills palettes. I haven't gotten into the level of Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona, but I hope to. But I want to be better at this, you know, more authoritative about it, I guess, when I invest in that level of makeup, you know, the kind of highest end Givenchy and YSL and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, I think I do a good enough job for my work and, you know, getting through COVID and not really being able to rely on other people to do makeup for me. You know, I think I'm not as embarrassingly terrible as I used to be, but you know, again, women, we are always becoming, right? We're always becoming whatever life stage or life moment we are. We're always becoming different looks and different expressions of lifestyle or job or, you know, events, whether that's a wedding or a party or, you know, going to a bar with your colleagues. And we are, you know, kind of in this place of evolving aesthetics, right? For different circumstances and events, different ages. But you know, at the very least, we want to be proficient and intentional about achieving looks that are, if not precisely, then very close to what we want to achieve, what we want to convey. If that's a first date, an anniversary, you know, wedding shower, a birthday party. You know, one of my colleagues posted footage from a birthday party outdoors this weekend, and you know, a lot of people went to this party, like, you know, at the party, but not really, I think, planning to be filmed and put onto social media. They may not know, in fact, that they have been filmed and put on social media, you know, like drinking or whatever. You don't want to look toe up. You know, when people are looking at this years into the future, you want to look like you know, like you expected people to look at you and that you expected to be photographed or filmed. That is, you know, that's the very least that you want. I mean, some people are making fun of celebrities and certainly people I know in real life for, you know, showing up looking like kind of raccoon-eyed, right? Darkness under the eyes is a rampant aesthetic issue. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you, but you will look kind of not good, not healthy, not rested if you wander around with dark under eye circles. I'm sorry. It's a cultural thing, I guess, but you know, it's easily corrected. You don't need surgery, you don't need lasers, you don't need injectables. You just need to look at your face and take care, right? Look at your face. It's your face. You want other people to look at it, right? Experiment with your makeup. Get it right. Get it looking like something that you want it to be, right? Whether you want to go rose or pink or purple, or whether you want to go mascara or curled lashes or, you know, false lashes. You know, my nails are growing back. Thank the Lord, right? Slowly but surely. And, you know, I definitely am thinking about exercise and deep breathing and drinking water and eating vegetables and fruits. I mean, yes, they do spoil. Sometimes you don't have all the time that you would like to have to eat them all, but it's better to have them than not have them and then just end up not eating fruits and vegetables, right? That's the risk you take, that things spoil, but that doesn't make it not worthwhile, right? It's like some people don't keep food in their house, right? And now, I guess globally and certainly in America, people are talking about supply chain problems. So, you know, have different levels of food in your house, right? Dry beans, dry pasta, oatmeal, right? Frozen protein, meat, you know, mycoprotein if you're vegan, different cheeses, hard cheeses, soft cheeses, goat cheese, Parmesan cheese, just things to keep your, you know, your palate amused as we see what is coming with, you know, the panorama and with the war. Do we call it that? Is it a war between Ukraine and Russia and possibly the other countries in Europe? Yeah, this is my new vase. Isn't it cute? I um I don't hate this other vase, but I thought this might look more sophisticated. Although I do like the old vase because it was transparent. You know, this might not be the last word in vase, but for $10 I couldn't resist. And then I also got, oh, a glass mug from a company called Dwell Studios, from which I've gotten some wall sconces that may allow me to put some plants on the wall on this side. But you know, I'm experimenting with my setup in my bedroom slash beauty room. I've been trying to be more organized with my makeup, but also more sophisticated in my lighting setup. Um, you know, trying to evolve myself into actually using a camera and editing videos and all of that stuff. So, you know, hopefully improved content to come. But I wanted to take some time and actually get on here today just because I do have a breath of a moment, and I don't have to be at work super, super early tomorrow. But I should probably hop off and get cracking on other things I need to do and preparing for tomorrow. But thank you for joining me as I continue on my beauty journey and learning about all the products in my possession and actually using them. And then I know when it's time to go out or when it's time to dress for a particular event that this is the eye I want, not this one. And that this kind of rose moment can be achieved with different liners and then a gloss over top. Although I think in 2022 it's more sophisticated to not gloss, right? To use a matte lipstick somehow to marry all of this together. So maybe we'll experiment with that later. I had a makeup artist do that, a sort of dry matte lip with a brown liner in December, a nude and a red, and it looked phenomenal in photos. So maybe we'll get into that just so we can be modern. We'll continue looking at how to best flatter our hooded eyes and our ethnic heritage. So until next time, this is Tanya at House of Tanya signing off, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.